Welcome to Metagame, the gaming and media podcast from Spawn Camp Council, the think tank that takes content to the highest tier of excellence. Tonight, we're giving you the highest information on the latest game, so boot up, log in, and enjoy the show. This week, Intel looks more like 7 Nevermeters. Borderlands 3 gets streamlined, the advent of the 60% keyboard, the Doctor will see you now, Red Dead Rodeo Clowns, and the Sony PlayStation 5. But we aren't talking about any of that crap tonight. Tonight, I'm your host, Adam Tuwell, with our co-hosts, KingDawes, OldDirtyRobot, and the platformer that steals your hearts, SolidScorpionZ.
Hooray.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Doing well.
Excellent,
Awesome.
Excited. It's been a busy week.
Yeah, it's been a terribly busy week. We were just talking about, before we started the cast, about the new G4 coming out, the old network. So you guys out there, if you ever watched any of the lovely Morgan Webb.
Throw up, please.
That was a topic of debate. Anyway, all right, to start off, we're going to talk about this week in failure. So this week, we're going with Ubisoft. In addition to being a widespread scandal of abuse, they lost their PR director, their creative lead on Valhalla, their HR director, their editorial VP, and they beta released their dip into the Battle Royale Hyperscape. Overall reaction of the public is kind of that the guns are completely unbalanced. The end plate sort of crown thing that happens at the end, you can just let happen, and it kind of just lets you win by random location luck. Invisibility hack, one of the hacks they have, is too easy to disengage, so you end up fighting, and you end up not fighting, and people just re-heal and go back to their own business and then wait to the end. The buildings make it really easy to disengage as well, and the vertical game with the jump pads and everything else makes it also easy to disengage, so it just pays to upgrade and wait for the crown instead of fighting. J-Man Blue and Robot and I played some 3-man of that, and I hated it. I really didn't like it at all. What'd you think, Robot?
Yeah, I have to agree. It's hard to describe. You know, I'm not a big Fortnite fan, but I'd put it a tier below Fortnite. It just didn't feel good. The shooting didn't feel good. Just the controls and gameplay in general didn't feel good. The guns didn't feel good. The only kind of redeeming quality that I would get it is it does something right that not a lot of games do, in that you can tell when you're hitting crits, and not just a visual indicator, but a feel and sound, kind of something that's really clear and tactile, that you're actually hitting crit shots. I did like that about it, but yeah, not a fan.
Not good.
It's a game that every time you hit crits, it makes like a higher, like ding 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 ding.
Yeah.
Games that do that, that's how it should be done, basically.
Yeah, I agree with that. Absolutely agree with that. And I do like the frenetic pace of it. I think that the speed of it is good, but if you're going to balance that speed of gameplay and have it to where you don't even have to fight, you're missing a huge step there. There's something wrong with it. I mean, it's still in beta, so you know, a little bit of credit to that end of it. Maybe they're going to figure it out. But I mean, everything else is going on with Ubisoft. Just a bad week for these guys, to be honest with you.
A bad week? Or
well, for us in the week in failure, it's a bad week. For them, it could be a catastrophic failure in the entire company. But we'll see. At least they have Watch Dogs coming out.
I'm sure that'll be flawless.
All this shrugging. I think Watch Dogs might be pretty interesting.
I hope it is.
Not my cup of tea, but yeah.
I actually like the Watch Dogs franchise. I enjoyed the first one a lot. I played a lot of it. Second one was okay, but
second one was okay. I like the mechanic. You pick a random NPC and you turn him into your character.
You use that hacker fantasy. You know, it's kind of nice.
Yeah.
And they're puzzles. You know, I love puzzles. Anyway. SolidScorpionZ, what do you got for us tonight?
Well, it's been a while, so obviously there's been a couple indie games that have caught my eye. Just gonna kind of run through a couple of them real quick that I think deserve a little extra attention. The first one I want to talk about is Griftlands. I think I might have said something about this our last time we podcasted. I think it had just come out, but I've gotten to spend some good time with it now, and I definitely stand behind recommending this to anybody who's into deck building, roguelites. I mean, even I guess RPGs in general. It's very, very good. You have two different decks. You have like a combat deck and you have a negotiation deck. And I actually find the negotiation battles a lot more fun than the actual combat battles themselves. Again, I'm not like super far into it, but the negotiation is it's very unique compared to like regular combat. So, and there's two different classes out right now. It is an early access still, so the third class, I have no idea what it's going to be. But when it comes out, I guess we'll find out. But definitely check that one out. They're by Cly Entertainment. Just looking at other things that they've made, I don't think that they have really. Oh, sorry, I'm stupid. They made Don't Starve, which is
okay, and Don't Starve 2 now.
Yeah. They made Don't Starve, Oxygen Not Included, Crypt of the Necrodancers in here as well. Just at Cly Entertainment, so it is published and developed by them. It looks like so. But like I said, just check it out. The art style I think is pretty cool. It's very it's like a moving cartoon, like as you're playing. It's not like Cuphead aesthetic or anything, but it's very clean, crisp looking.
So like Darkest Dungeon kind of look.
It's not as stylized as Darkest Dungeon. It's got its own style to it. It's good though. So then after that one, we have Bloodstained: Curse of the Moon 2, which is their classic, like I love, classic platforming, 8-bit, just beat the game type of game. There was Bloodstained: Curse of the Moon, the original one that came out, and then the second one that came out was Bloodstained. Oh God, I can't. It was more done in like the Castlevania Symphony of the Night style instead of the classic Castlevania style. Curse of the Moon 2 is very classic Castlevania, so like NES, Super NES Castlevania style. But you get to switch between like 3 to 4 characters as you're going. There's multiplayer in it, so you can play 1 player, 2 player. But like as you're going, you see something and you're like, oh man, I need a character that can jump higher. All you have to do is just tap a button once you unlock the character, and then you can switch to that character, and then you can get to like a higher up jump character.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah. And there's different modes. Once you beat the game the first time, there's different modes. There's there's classic mode, which is just normal, like the game, the original game that you're playing. But then you can like just pick a character and beat the game as that one character with no other upgrades, no other character selection or anything like that. So it's kind of fun to get some different runs in, I guess, that way. And I guess I approach everything from the speed run aspect. So it's a lot of fun. It's just very, very classic 2D.
And I was listening to a podcast earlier this week that said something about like it's like beat for beat Castlevania. Like they basically just changed the what the bad guy looks like, and it's almost identical.
Yeah.
Like level.
It's actually made by Koji Igarashi. I think he's the original guy who did Castlevania.
Okay.
The original Castlevania back on like the NES. I'm pretty sure on that. I could be wrong. But he's involved in it as well. So it's very, very good. I'm still struggling through it. But I haven't really I've maybe spent a couple hours just kind of here and there waiting for people to get on to play other stuff, just to kind of play it. But very fun. Definitely check it out if you're into that kind of stuff. And then the third one I wanted to highlight is a game I've been following for a while. It's by this developer called Fat Gem. This is the very first game that they've ever done. And it is a side-scrolling 2D. I would say that it's more 16-bit, very Metroidvania-ish. I don't think you go like backtrack or anything like that, but the stages are very wide open, and there's kind of like puzzles that you have to like get through each stage. But it's very, very, very nice looking. The animation is all very crisp and clean. It looks more like a Sega game, I guess. Like a Genesis game versus like a NES or a Super NES game. There's parallaxing backgrounds and stuff like that, so it's animation wise it's really awesome. And then it just feels good to jump around and fight stuff. You only have like a melee weapon, but that's kind of like where the challenge is and that kind of stuff. So just kind of more stuff like that, I guess. There are a couple more that I'm kind of like looking and waiting for them to come out, but I don't really want to talk about them yet because I don't know too much about them. I've just seen like cool screenshots for them, and that's about it. But Primal Light is the last one here, so definitely check those out. And they're all like $15-$20, so pick them up.
Cool, sounds good. What about the Nintendo Mini this week? The Mini Direct.
Oh, the Mini Direct, yes. Not interesting at all.
Yeah, that's what
like, honestly, it was really disappointing. I mean, we've had PlayStation, and now tonight we'll talk about Microsoft, but we've had PlayStation and Xbox stuff already, for their fall lineup kind of unveiled, and Nintendo's just like, well, here's a couple games that nobody really cares about.
Yeah.
Here's the DLC. Though the one thing they did say was new DLC for the Zelda-themed Crypt of the Necrodancer.
Yes.
Which I loved that game. I loved it a lot. This mostly for the soundtrack, but it was a lot of fun. And now they're bringing out like Shadow Link, Shadow Zelda. You'll be able to play a whole new map and area as Skull Kid from Majora's Mask, which is really cool. And then there's a shopkeep guy that you can be as well, for the new characters in the old game. I'm not sure if he's an original character for this, or if he's been in another Zelda game before. But I mean, yeah, they had like Shin Megami Tensei 4 or something.
Yeah, 5's coming out.
I don't know.
Which I've never played, so I don't know anything.
Yeah, it's another one of those 120-hour RPGs that nobody fucking wants to play anyways. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck Nintendo's doing. When they like, the rumor right now is that there's a Mario HD collection that's going to be coming out. That's going to encompass Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, Super Mario Galaxy, and Super Mario 3D Land, or 3D World. That they're all supposed to be coming out in one package for Switch. There's also talks of a 2D Metroid that will take place what was it? It was like it takes place before the first Metroid game, but it'll be called Metroid 5. So I don't know what they're doing.
Don't forget Pokemon Snap.
Oh, that was a while ago. I think that Pokemon Snap. Oh yeah, and then the Pokemon MOBA that's coming out, which everyone like throws up when they hear about this, but I'm so excited to one-shot motherfuckers out of a bush as Gengar. Like, oh my god, it's gonna be
just take League of Legends and copy paste Pokemon characters in there.
Yeah, exactly what it is. Can't wait to wreck some 10-year-olds. So
Yeah.
I can see that blowing up like crazy, to be honest with you.
Dude, yeah,
probably
honestly, I think so too. Like if you look at like the top games of every single month, League of Legends is still top like
Dota.
3 every single month. Like Dota is kind of falls off a little bit. It comes back here and there when new characters are in, but every single month, League of Legends is one of the highest grossing games in the world, and MOBAs are still the highest grossing games over in China and Japan. So, and Korea. Also, yeah. So I mean,
over here, we don't get MOBA games as shoved in your face.
No, not even
in the East. It's humongous.
Yeah, I mean, they literally. I think we've talked about this before, but they literally sell out football stadiums for a single game of League of Legends or Dota or something.
They have whole television networks dedicated to MOBA stuff, so it's like it's just not our genre here.
Yeah, exactly. We're all about big tough football, all that shit, and that's not what they're about over there. They're about like reflexes and intelligence and strategy. So
strategery.
Yeah. I almost said it. I almost said it.
You can tell where Solid lives.
Yeah, exactly.
All that strategery.
But so like Nintendo is I don't know.
They're just sitting on Paper Mario right now. It looks like.
Oh yeah, they're so. I mean, they had Pokemon and Animal Crossing were really the big games that came out this year. Or well, Animal Crossing. I mean, Pokemon came out last year, but it's still kind of
the timing of Animal Crossing helped as well.
Yes,
it was during,
the timing of Animal Crossing
came out.
And then Paper Mario comes out, and it's doing really well. It's selling really well. It's getting good reviews. There's a lot of people that are playing it. I myself am playing it right now. It's very good. It's not an RPG. I wouldn't say it's really an RPG. It's more of a puzzle game. To be honest, it's each combat is very puzzly. But that's really all they have right now. But that's Nintendo. They don't care about what anyone else is doing. They literally released an Animal Crossing the same day as Doom. They released the same day as Doom. It outsold Doom like 10-1. And then Paper Mario comes out the same day as Ghost of Tsushima, and it still fucking does good.
Yep.
It's Nintendo. So, but yeah, that's all I got. We got tons of other stuff to talk about.
Yeah, we do. Got a long way to go. Streaming update. So a lot of crazy shit going on right now. A lot of people getting called out in streams. A lot of people for abuse. A lot of people doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Dr. Disrespect issue. Mixer's gone. Ninja Shroud. All that other stuff.
Wait, Mixer's gone?
Yeah, man.
What?
Yeah, totally
Wow,
gone.
you didn't know that.
And here at Spawn Camp Council, we've done some streaming stuff in the past, just sort of like updates. My advice to the community, and I hope you guys agree, is that just don't stream right now. Just stay off the streaming platforms until all this shit goes away. If you want to build your brand right now, that is just not the best thing you can do. So,
just don't stream on Facebook.
Well,
don't get.
You mean Mixer?
Right.
It's crazy. It's crazy out there, guys. Watch out. Be careful.
$16 million contract that he fulfilled a year of, and then gone.
Yeah, and they got paid out. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, good for him.
Man, it's crazy stuff. Anyway, D&D news. We played a good bit of the Theros campaign in our weekly Saturday lineup. We're episode 4 in now. What do you guys think about the campaign so far, as far as like building characters and just the stage?
It puts you, in my opinion, it puts you in check way more than other source materials, in the fact that you're not the biggest dick swinging around. There are much bigger dicks swinging around, and they have no problem letting you know that. And that's refreshing, because in your normal D&D campaigns and settings, like once you hit a certain level, you're a god, basically. And it doesn't even have to be 20 that you get to that level. And in this setting, there are actual gods that can knock you down a peg really quickly, and it's kind of nice to have that check.
Robot, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, from a god standpoint, and I'm probably the least experienced person from a D&D standpoint with this group, but it seems fire and brimstone. I look for something like lighthearted and jovial, and that does not exist in this world. Like everything is it's like I said, fire and brimstone. There are consequences. I feel a little bit out of my element, frankly.
Solid. What do you think?
I mean, it definitely plays into the fantasy of, you are chosen by destiny to fulfill some sort of mechanic in the world, I guess, which I really enjoy. It's really, like, we've been playing it like basically in Forgotten Realms for so long that it's really, really refreshing to get into a new kind of world with a new pantheon of gods and basically new mechanics throughout the world that like really shake things up. I myself am playing the Satyr class, and it's so much fun. I absolutely I just picture Philatides from Hercules running around with a arrow. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
From the DM perspective, I mean, it's refreshing to have such an open-ended, you can kind of do anything you want sort of feel to it. It allows you to have a lot of really big encounters, because you can empower your players a lot more than you can in a standard D&D campaign. Like, I've given you guys some really wicked magical items, at level 8, and it doesn't bother me. It's not going to break the game. I mean, the game it adapts really well to with encounters and everything else. I mean, and I like the maps and all the media that it has that comes with being a Magic the Gathering type card game, you know, that's brought from. There are all kinds of pictures on the internet that you can get, and you know, maps and you know, all this cool stuff that's just already just beautiful that you can use and honestly build a story around those images, which is really fun to do. I like it. I would totally allow any other class to come into this one. I would never allow any of these classes to leave and go into a regular D&D game. No way. It's too overpowered. But that's kind of the fun of it. I mean, you are just you know, you're not the biggest dick swinging around, but you're pretty big dicks. So yeah, it's
you're like a pretty medium dick.
You'll get there.
Yeah.
Anyway,
more of a grower.
So last week we had a question on the D&D Trivia Question. What does TSR initially stand for? And Solid, you nailed it, man. Tactical Studies Rules. Yep, TSR, the original D&D company. This week, a fun question for you guys. An ally is between you and the enemy. Does the enemy get the benefit of cover? If yes, how much? Start with you, Robot.
Hey, I've got a 50-50 chance. So I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
The ally gets the benefit of cover.
Okay, and how much?
How much benefit?
How much cover?
How much cover?
How much cover?
75%.
Can I move? Can I move 30 feet?
How far can I go again?
How far can I go again? Sorry.
You either get half, three quarters, or full.
Half. I'm gonna go with half.
Okay. King.
I'm gonna say not in 5th edition.
And Solid.
I'm gonna say I don't have line of sight
What?
on the enemy.
You're saying you don't have? You broke up in audio. I couldn't hear what you said.
Oh, I'm gonna say you don't have line of sight on the enemy. Period.
So
So
no.
100% cover. Yeah.
Okay. Very good.
Ooh, interesting.
Oh no.
Yeah.
100%
Sounds like
cover.
100% cover.
I mean, it's essentially 100% cover because you don't have line of sight. Well, yeah. So it'd be zero. There'd be no cover because you don't have line
No,
of sight.
does the enemy have cover?
Right.
So the enemy's on the other side of your ally. So you would say yes, the enemy has 100% cover.
Oh no. I'm just thinking from a range standpoint. I guess. Yeah, I'll go with 50%.
Okay.
Jesus.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's one of those things. Like I have no idea. That's very specific. I have no idea.
Okay. All right.
I'm fairly certain in my answer. So.
All right. Very good.
You what?
He's fairly certain of his answer, he says.
Oh.
So. All right. And we will find out next week. Some of you are right.
Excellent.
Some of you are wrong.
The best.
Stole it from you. Stole it from you. All right. What else do I have? Nothing for me. Robot, what you got?
Hey, there's some kind of interesting news going on in gaming, some rumors out there. I guess there's two things I want to talk about. But the first one is, you know, Xbox went on the buying spree over the last year. They bought a whole host of studios. They bought some really interesting studios. And we saw that in the Xbox showcase that was this week. But there's a big fish out there swimming around, and that's WB. And word on the street. So if you don't know, AT&T owns WB. AT&T is looking at parting ways with them, and the asking price is around $4 billion.
WB being who?
Warner Brothers Gaming. So
Thank
if
you.
you think Warner Brothers Gaming, like, well, and let's be honest, I mean, for the average gamer, that's probably not something that resonates. But we're talking about Mortal Kombat, the Hitman series, Injustice, all the Batman games, the Lego games. There's a Harry Potter game on the way.
Huge.
Scribblenauts. I mean, there's a whole host of studios that come along with this. There's some really interesting IP. There's some catches with some of this.
The Shadow of Mordor.
Shadow of Mordor is part of this deal. So yeah, I mean, this would be big. You know, Sony's got their Spider-Man. Microsoft would have their Batman, perhaps. But you think about it, $4 billion, a lot of money. Microsoft is a $1 trillion company. Not
Drop
really.
in the bucket, man.
Drop in the bucket.
They have that in cash reserves ready to go.
Yeah.
They paid $2 billion for one game, Minecraft. So
that's a good investment.
Yeah, definitely.
And you can make an argument. So some of these, there's some licensing agreements to it, like Batman. They're going to have to relicense that game. The Injustice games, Harry Potter. They're going to have to re-up some licensing to continue to make those games. But Mortal Kombat, that'd be 100% Microsoft.
The thing is, though, that these Warner Brother games have gone on sale pretty quickly after release. Injustice did not do well, especially Injustice 2. You see like the Arkham games going always like for $4 on like Fanatical and things like
when
that.
They come
out they've been out
when
forever,
they come out.
though.
When they come out though, they're hot as a pistol.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like all the Batman games. I mean, Batman Arkham City was like one of the best-selling games of its time.
Yeah.
Like period. It's still really good game.
It doesn't have resale value, but
to me, I just wonder why AT&T is getting rid of them. Like, I just don't understand why they would move to do that.
Because they're
$4 billion paycheck.
Yeah, they're a company that's going bankrupt, probably. I mean, it's AT&T. Like, what do they know about gaming? They know literally nothing. I mean, yeah, they've made a bunch of money with these franchises, but who could do better? Probably Microsoft.
Yeah.
And so here we go. Top selling games of 2019. Mortal Kombat number 5. Behind Call of Duty, NBA 2K20, Madden, and Borderlands 3.
Damn.
Yep.
That's a surprising list. Yeah.
Don't sleep on some of this stuff. Especially the fact that they would outright own Mortal Kombat, and just like Microsoft or just like Minecraft, I could see them continuing to offer Mortal Kombat on multiple platforms.
Right.
Yep.
Well, what does Microsoft have for fighting game right now? They have
Killer Instinct.
Killer Instinct, which is not.
Which I like it. A lot of people don't, but
it's not like okay. So when it comes to the fighting game world, Killer Instinct
is not an Evo.
No, it's not an Evo game. Whereas Mortal Kombat is an Evo game. It's one of the most popular like fighting games on the planet. And for them to acquire, that's basically like acquiring.
Well, you take an annual game like that, where it's not necessarily exactly annual, but it's like there's been 10 iterations of it, and you stick something like that on Game Pass, and that's a huge piece of bait to have people sign up for Game Pass.
Yeah.
Like because it's so frequently coming out, people see the value of, well, I get the new Mortal Kombat every time it comes out, and it's like it's unreal. That would be a huge, just that IP alone would be a huge pickup for Microsoft.
Yeah, and the talent in these studios. These are talented studios that they would pick up that undoubtedly will move on. Like Avalanche. Yeah, Avalanche Games has made some really interesting stuff. I think they'll end up making other IP, but when I looked at this list and thought this in Game Pass, new versions of these games in Game Pass. Right. Yeah, this starts to get really interesting.
Those are always solid games too, as far as bugs go, and and having issues. I mean, there may be a loot problem like in Mortal Kombat, but there's not generally a problem with the game itself.
Yeah, I think Mortal Kombat 10 was okay, but 11 has been stellar, top notch. And then think about all the Lego games. I mean, if you've got kids,
Lego Batman.
Right?
Oh God, Lego games.
I could see, and of course, again, you've got to up the license for it. But what I could see for that full $4 billion, Microsoft probably negotiates we've got exclusive rights to the license for another 2 years or some next game or something like that, and they go from there.
Well, and how much did Disney purchase LucasArts or Star Wars for? Wasn't it like $4 billion?
Yeah,
and I don't remember the exact amount they made with that already. Yeah. I mean, if they do it smart, they're gonna make the money back easily, and we just reap all the benefits.
Well, I mean, and even with the liquidity of Microsoft, I mean, they can do a long haul on that anyway. They could sit on those titles for 2-3 years and then bring them back out with a vengeance.
Oh yeah.
So,
I would love to see a new installment of the Batman series.
Me too. It's such a good game.
Yeah, they really are great games.
Every time I play Spider-Man on the PlayStation, I think of all the Batman games I've played in the past.
Yep.
I would like to see a new Batman game, but let's do something different than Assassin's Creed Batman. We've had that for 4 games.
Yeah,
That's interesting. Yeah.
fair.
I mean, Arkham Knights. Wow, I spent a lot of time on
Yeah,
that
it
game,
was
more
Great
than
game.
I'd
really
like to
fun.
admit.
Well, I don't know if you fuck with a streak though.
So the other side, I guess the other issue that I'd like to talk about is there is some Destiny 2 news out there, and this is something that happened in the past that I have to admit I kind of wondered, like, where is this going? What are they planning on doing with this? And Microsoft a few months back signed a marketing deal with Destiny. So this is a very similar deal to what Destiny or Bungie signed with PlayStation. And they've been pretty clear that they're no longer going to do like exclusive weapons, exclusive strikes. So I guess for me personally, I kind of thought, what's Microsoft going to get out of this? So is it we'll see a Destiny console, a Destiny Xbox? Are we going to see some Destiny controllers? I think that would be really cool. But
yeah.
we found out this week what that deal was really all about, and it comes down to Game Pass. And Destiny 2 will be on Game Pass. The full expansions will be, we're not talking about free Destiny on Game Pass. We're talking about Forsaken, what's the
Shadow
Guiding
Keep
Light?
and
Shadow Keep
New
and
Light.
Beyond
Beyond
Light.
Light.
Every time I think of Beyond Light, I think of New Light, their new
Yeah.
process. But
Oh,
like
Beyond Light was
full
for a while.
on, yeah. So you've got Game Pass, you're all in on Destiny. There are some catches to it. But that's what this deal is all about at the end of the day. It's and I like it. It's not about exclusives. It's not about special guns or skins or any of that stuff that Xbox seems to really be shunning. But it again, it all goes back to Game Pass.
And Destiny
so
seems to
Destiny-
retain the battle pass, the seasons,
Yeah.
you know, as
Yeah.
they are.
Yeah,
So that you still have to pay for those.
Destiny was announced that 4K 60 is going to be the standard for Xbox Series X.
Yep.
Which is huge.
About time.
Everyone was concerned that it was going to be another 30 FPS iteration, but we got confirmation that 4K 60 is the standard.
You want 120, but I'm just saying.
Well,
I don't know
going
about you
from
guys.
30 to 60.
Yeah.
If coming in
That's
there,
true.
60, that's fine. Yeah.
But if
Yeah.
I play Trials, it's going to be on Xbox.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, true.
Keep
I
those
mean-
cheaters at bay.
Then it's just DDoSers and
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah.
kids that are actually
Like
good
Account
Laptop.
recoveries.
Yeah.
account recoveries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
But you
guy's
don't
only
have to
won
worry-
2 trials, 2
have
Crucible
to
matches his
worry
entire life. He's kicking my ass.
You don't have
And
to
he
worry
just
about
dropped
fully
an
automatic
8KD.
whisper to worms.
But hey, so they dropped a new trailer. I think that was another interesting piece. They showed a little bit more of stasis. We saw some of the stasis abilities.
Yeah.
We saw something which we debated this on our Discord, but I like the grenade that I think will help people in jumping puzzles.
Yeah. You can't
It's
get all
like
the
a-
way up. You can throw a grenade half.
It's not a real grenade. Yeah, it's a platform grenade.
Yeah.
They even showed what I think is an exotic shotgun. It has a kind of the same silhouette to the Void shotgun that boots people off the map.
Tractor cannon.
Tractor
man.
cannon, similar silhouette to tractor cannon. So,
Stasis
hey,
cannon.
we've got Phase Ice Wall in Destiny now, and yeah, I said this earlier on something else, but the more I watch this video, the less interested I am in Stasis.
Really? See, my interest is.
I hate to say it.
I think that, to me, it looks game breaking. I think there's going to be a lot of things that come in. They're going to release it, and about 2 weeks later, they're going to be like, all right, fuck all that. We're not doing that anymore.
The freezing people in PvP thing seems
So broken, right? That is so broken. And like, you just think about playing Trials and like just taking that grenade up to being a vertical shooter, right? And now you see everybody down, just like snipe, 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 snipe. Grenade goes away.
Well, you can throw up ice walls like May in Overwatch.
Yeah.
And like how broken is that? Like if you can literally cordon off one hallway so there's only one entrance and exit out of another way, and you can all push in. It's like some of these abilities are going to be.
Yeah, the comp timer starts going off, and we got to get to the point, right? Ice
Right,
wall.
exactly. Yep.
Yeah, good point.
Two people
Good
on the ice wall, the whole area is cordoned off. You can sit there and emote the whole time while the other team's like, fuck me, I guess. There'll be checks. I mean, it'll be like a Titan
There's-
barricade where you can shoot through it and stuff.
There'll
so,
be a perk that
look
lets
dope.
guns. Yeah.
yeah.
That'd
No,
be
I
something.
don't know. I've just never liked the freeze abilities in shooters. I don't disagree. I think they'll be powerful, and there's some really interesting applications for them. But I don't know. For me,
That warlock with his ice staff.
I think it'll be
it does
game
sound
changing. I mean, it's going to change the game, and then we haven't had that in a long time in Destiny. You know, since the Forsaken.
This is the first new element we've had.
Yeah, Forsaken was the last one. We had our third tier of the specials, the supers.
I personally was hoping Dark would be more like psychic powers as opposed to ice
Well, they
powers.
had void,
but
so it's tough to.
Yeah.
I know it's
fine.
tough. It's or corrosive or something like that.
I was hoping that it'd be like linked to the darkness in some way, but it doesn't seem like it is. I mean, it just means that you're on Europa
ice.
and you get ice powers from the forge or whatever it is.
Dark ice.
It's dark ice.
Oh, it's dark ice. Okay, yeah,
Black
yeah. It's black ice. Don't skid.
Yeah.
I was hoping we were going to see some sort of corrosion as well, but
Play Borderlands.
I don't
if you want
know.
all that shit.
Yeah,
I-
right.
Right. It. I'm excited. I think this is going to be a big DLC, and I know we don't want to go too deep into Destiny, but every time they show something new, outside of Stasis, I'm excited.
Mhm.
So, and
I'm
on
glad
Game
that-
Pass.
Yeah, I'm glad that the Xbox is put it on the Game Pass. I mean, that'd be great for people. Did you watch the showcase?
Yeah, absolutely. I guess the question I had for you guys really is, do you think the full game being on Game Pass will that expand the kind of player base on
Fuck yeah, well,
Xbox?
it's like Christmas noobs all year round.
Yeah.
So every kid that gets
You just
Game
get some.
Pass
You just get
is-
some scrub that's like, "What's Destiny 2?" And they hop on right during Iron Banner. Be perfect.
Oh, let them just announce like right after that it's crossplay.
No,
Like it's on Game Pass, it's on Game Pass Ultimate, it's on PC, and guess what, guys? We got something really cool for you. PC players can play against Xbox players.
but
It
no
will
PlayStation.
Yeah.
So we are talking
Or
about
to be fair,
Xbox,
Stadia.
OG Xbox, or not necessarily OG, but Xbox One X and One S will crossplay with the new Xbox. So if you got a new Xbox and you're at 60 frames per second,
Oof.
you do
You
have
have
a bit
a
of a
super
Yeah,
advantage.
you do.
on
Big time.
on a good portion of the population. You
Especially
might have
by
some
the keyboard
fun.
and mouse that they sell for it.
Yeah, right.
Guess what, old guys?
Zim it up. There you
Yeah.
go.
Dr.
Well,
Lupo used to
you're
do.
not going to have to zim it because I think Microsoft has done this where you can just bring a keyboard and mouse, plug them right into the box.
They sell like
It's
a
up
keyboard
to the
and mouse.
developer. And,
Yeah, it's up to the developer. Yeah,
And Bungie does not support it at this time on Xbox.
So
so
Zim
dumb. Well,
Fortnite does. a lot
at
of them
this
do.
time, yeah, at this time. But now that they're kind of entering this, unforeseen territory with the Game Pass stuff through Microsoft, I bet you they will push it out.
And that's my
Especially-
guess too when I said that about the Game Pass Ultimate. You know, them getting rid of Xbox Live or Gold, whatever tiers they're
Maybe.
doing there, yeah, and making
Whatever
it
they
just
got
where you
going
get the $14.99 Ultimate. I could see them pushing more of those Xbox only games to PC because now you're at probably 20%, maybe 15% of the games that come over.
Right.
Definitely doing that, and then maybe making a crossplay. I mean, that's just me fanboying, but we'll see.
We'll see.
So, what'd you notice from the showcase?
Okay. So if we want to get into our games from the showcase, yeah. So just quick level set. I think if you're into games, you know that Microsoft had a huge show this week and showed a lot of games. That depends on whether you're blue or green. I think the Sony fanboys think that it was kind of underwhelming, but as a fan of games, I think Microsoft showed a really interesting broad spectrum of games, and there's a few in particular that I'm interested in. I think there are a lot of games that frankly look awesome, but there are three that I kind of picked out. So number one of all the games they talked about for me personally is Avowed. And this whole idea of a game, a first-person RPG set in the Pillars of Eternity universe, has my Skyrim PP hard. For lack of
The technical term, folks.
right,
Ouch.
right.
Not a family
Ouch.
show, so you're okay.
Yeah.
Elder Scrolls, those were all great. I can remember playing Morrowind on my Xbox and really enjoying that universe. And I think Pillars of Eternity is so much deeper and there's so much potential there. And Obsidian is such a good developer that I am excited to see with Microsoft money what they can do. They really proved themselves with Outer Worlds. And the other thing that I kind of thought about when I was thinking about Avowed and Outer Worlds as well is Microsoft's kind of poised to eat Bethesda's lunch. Like Bethesda made the lunch and Microsoft copied it and is gonna eat it. But the Obsidian made Fallout New Vegas. For some fans, that's the best Fallout ever made. And they've got Outer Worlds. It's an even better game, arguably, than the current offering of Fallout. And I think Pillars of Eternity will do the exact same thing with the Elder Scrolls universe.
Yep.
I think
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting. I know the trailer they showed isn't necessarily indicative of gameplay, but I'm thinking 2022, maybe 2021 on this game. So definitely something to be excited about. Another one from a tech standpoint that stuck out to me was Forza. And Forza so far, yeah. First off, I think a lot of us like the just Forza games in general.
Absolutely.
But this might be the best example of ray tracing on a console that I've seen yet, and it was rendered in game.
Yeah.
Usually you get these games that obviously they use non-game footage. I saw that showcase, and I fully believe that will be what the game looks like, because Forza games are always beautiful, and now with this much horsepower behind the Series X, it's going to be amazing.
I honestly couldn't tell that we were at, like, if you were watching that trailer as not knowing it was a game trailer, you just saw this footage of this car pit with all these people walking around in these cars, you would not be able to tell that is fake, that is computer generated.
It's a very fine line.
It's getting to that uncanny valley with ray tracing, I think, and the fact that is all in engine and is running on an Xbox Series X,
right?
That's fucking insane.
Sony did the same thing with their car game,
Gran Turismo.
And it had some good examples of ray tracing, but it's like Microsoft took that and turned the volume up to 10. I mean, every surface. And it's funny when people try to show ray tracing, they show the puddle that reflects, or they show the hood of the car, and it was hard to find a surface that didn't look like it had some degree of ray tracing in this.
It was beautiful
in this example. So yeah, super pumped. And also, I think it's important to mention that is not going to be an Xbox Series X or Xbox Series S or Xbox One S and Xbox One X game. Sorry, it's not going to be one of the last gen Xbox games. This will be a next gen Xbox game, clearly, because it's ray tracing. So. I know people have been worried that Microsoft's not going to make next-gen games for their new console, but I think this was, and there's some other examples, that they said, they're making a clear statement that they are going to make games for those consoles specifically. So that's exciting. Again, another game that's probably 2021 is my guess. Next Christmas on that. And then the last one is one that's just kind of like a personal favorite. I really enjoyed the first game. When Microsoft bought this studio, I couldn't have been more excited. Double Fine Studios, and Tim Schafer is like a legend in game development, but Psychonauts too. I loved that game on the OG Xbox. It shocked me that we didn't see more of those games, and I think Microsoft could really double down on this and make it their Crash Bandicoot. It really could be, that kind of platformer targeted at younger audiences, but good through older audiences, kind of character and franchise for Microsoft. So don't have a lot to say about it. I guess the one thing that I heard is before Microsoft bought Double Fine, they were going to release the game, and they didn't have enough development budget to put bosses in it, so they had a lot planned for the game that they weren't going to put in it. Now this game is being pushed out a year, so clearly Microsoft's putting the money behind it to make sure that they can realize their vision for it. So
the only thing I can say about the for the kids making the Crash Bandicoot is it's pretty trippy.
Yeah,
from the trailer.
That's the beauty of it, though.
Yeah.
I
can see a lot of parents being like, "Yeah, no, LSD not in this house. No."
It's an exploration of the mind, man.
Mom. Solid. What do you got? What'd you see from the showcase? What'd you like?
Just to kind of echo what Robot was saying with Avowed, like, I am first and foremost an Elder Scrolls guy. I've been playing Elder Scrolls since Arena and Daggerfall and Redguard on the PC, and made the jump to Xbox once it came out, when Morrowind hit Xbox. I had Morrowind on Xbox and on PC. I played both games. I probably played at least 1,000 hours between both of them. Like, me and friends would make mods. I love the medieval fantasy setting much more than the post-apocalyptic setting of Fallout. And I think that this Avowed game is, and I didn't realize it was in the Pillars of Eternity universe. Like, that makes me even more excited, because Pillars of Eternity is a great universe. I'm not super huge on the games as much, but I really like and enjoy that universe, and like reading about it and watching people play it is fine. But like, Jesus Christ, that trailer showing the sword and the hand comes out and it does its magic, that's so classic Elder Scrolls, and something that I think that Obsidian is already doing better than Bethesda is like Outer Worlds is like their Fallout. And I thought Outer Worlds was more enjoyable as a game than Fallout ever was. From Fallout 3, I mean, New Vegas was whatever. It was, Obsidian, but it was still Fallout. And I don't really like it that much. Fallout 4 was just not good. It's not, it's like, it had so many bugs. The game is so huge, and there's no like direction for it, You don't really feel emotionally involved with anything in that game. You can run around and do whatever the fuck you want, and it just doesn't matter. Outer Worlds, you kill a person, you can't complete that quest anymore. You just can't do it because you literally killed that person, and they allow you to do whatever you want, but there are consequences for it. And so there's actual repercussions of things you do in the game that affect your story overall. And yes, Outer Worlds is only like a 20-hour game, but why do I want to play a 100-hour or 60, 70-hour game when there's so many of them? I just really think that with Avowed coming out, it's going to beat the pants off of Elder Scrolls. I'll still get both of them. I'll still probably enjoy both of them. And I can see Avowed being like that, more of that, all right, I'm going to play this, for 20, 30 hours, and it's going to be great. And Elder Scrolls, I'll struggle through with all the glitches and all the terrible coding that Bethesda does and still play it, So that's kind of my take on the Avowed thing. The other game that I was pretty interested in, obviously, is Halo. Halo Infinite.
Halo.
It's Halo. I mean,
it's gushing right now.
Yeah. What else is there to say? It's Halo. But the reason I really, really enjoyed seeing that Halo trailer, and I've heard this from other like content creators and stuff like all over YouTube and Twitter. It looks and feels like it's going to be like classic Halo again. And the reason I enjoyed classic Halo so much is because it was basically a first-person shooter at that time from the PC, now on a console. And I am a big proponent for classic first-person shooter feel, and that's really kind of what it looks like. Also, it apparently seems like they're going open world with this one, because that map they showed, there's an upgrades tab in the top corner there as well. And after listening to IGN Unlocked, watching and listening to them talk a little bit, it does sound like what I thought. It's going to be more Metroid-ish, where you're in this open world. You know, you might find a cool area and you're like, oh man, I can't get across this cliff or something. Like, what do I got to get? Oh, I got to come back here at another time with a different upgrade. Maybe you get a jetpack or something. So it feels like it's going to be very Metroid-y, which I love Metroid, and those are my kind of games. I really enjoy those. So we didn't get to see any multiplayer, which is kind of disappointing. But I mean, Halo's multiplayer is always tight.
Yeah, they mentioned that multiplayer is obviously going to be in it, but
yeah, it's obviously going to be in it, and I'm not really too worried because their multiplayer is always fucking awesome. It kicks pants off of everything else. People fall off of it because it's too classic feeling, but I honestly think that that's what makes it really great, and I'm very excited to play a new Halo on PC with mouse and keyboard exactly the way it was meant to be played.
When I saw when I saw just the Halo pistol come out and that one shot of that little grunt, I was like, "Oh, it's back!"
So
it felt like original Halo.
Did you guys notice how he shot the brute in the leg and like took the leg out?
Yes.
Yeah, the idea that when I looked at this, and it doesn't seem like the next Halo. It seems like Halo Evolved 2.0 next gen
On the grappling
version, and I think that's a really good idea.
Yeah.
To go that direction.
Yeah. I think that's like I said, like that's why people like the original Halo so much, is because it was a classic first person shooter on a console. Now with a good story, like not good, but decent sci-fi story, something they can follow, something that is going to get them be fun with their friends for a couple hours. Hopefully more than a couple, but you know what I'm saying. But I was talking to one of our guys in the other Discord channel, and he is saying like this is not going to grab new gamers. This isn't something that younger gamers are going to see and be like, oh man, I really got to play that. I'm going to play this forever. And I don't really think that they care to grab those people. This is what it seems like is going to be a live service game, and there's not going to be a Halo Infinite 2. They have a 10-year plan for this game to just constantly push content out, constantly push new missions out, constantly push new maps out. Like, this is Halo for the next 10 years. This is what it is, and I think it's really smart of them to do that.
So what do you guys think about the rumor of Halo BR in this?
No, please don't.
I honestly don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah, just multiplayer, standard Halo multiplayer. Just do it like that. Halo 3 multiplayer. Just bring that back and make it look cool.
What's the murder ball or whatever it's called?
Oddball,
baby.
Griffball.
It used to be Oddball.
Yeah, Oddball. Griffball is the one with the hammers and shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Oddball's where you grab it and you got to run all the way to touch.
Yeah, you got the skull. Yeah,
such a good game mode.
Yeah, it's so much fun,
dude.
If they could stick to that kind of arena shooter kind of stuff, perfect.
And again, like you talk about the kids like not wanting to play this, and and they don't do it, but it's free. Not free, but if you get Game Pass, then all these games are just included. So, you get your Game Pass for Destiny, then you can throw this in there one time. You're like, hey, this is really similar to Destiny. What's this about?
Yeah, exactly.
They're gonna give us COVID anyway.
Yeah, I know, right? I heard what was it? I heard it on what was it, like Game Scoop or one of those IGN podcasts where one of their kids was watching the Halo reveal, and they're just like, "What is this? This doesn't look good at all. This looks like garbage."
Well, as soon as that 117 popped up on the game preview, I was like, "Oh fuck, here we go."
Yeah.
And like I said, with the pistol, and like when he picked up the BR, I was like, "Oh yes!" Like I can just picture myself doing the BXR little combo, and it's those kind of memories that kind of franchise doesn't need to grab new customers. Like they have such a huge base of nostalgic customers that's what you're gonna get your money's worth out of.
Yeah, sure. I agree. And the last thing that I was really interested in, there was like Robot was saying earlier, the I was very impressed by the amount and all the genres that they covered with this event. PlayStation. Here's my rant. All right, PlayStation has these couple games that come out each generation. They're 3 or 4. They're all third-person action games. They all have deep stories. They all have great graphics. But cool, you get to play 3 or 4 games over that entire generation. Now Xbox has what, 15, 20 games that they just revealed. Each of them is a little different, and each of them appeals to maybe a slightly different audience. Look at all the people that are going to come in and play those games for hours and hours and hours and hours, and still probably go play their PlayStation or something and play that one game for 40 hours, and then now I'm gonna go back to my Xbox and play this other crazy shit that's going on.
All right, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Settle down.
Yeah,
Settle
we'll get
down.
to that. But all right, so the last thing I was interested in, the last game I was interested in is just some DLC for Outer Wilds, because I think Outer Wilds is so awesome. They're adding a huge content, like adding more map. They're adding new planet. They're adding new weapons. They had some weird axe thing. I don't know what it was, but they're like, yeah, you can swing this thing too. New costumes, new skills. It just more Outer Wilds. Outer Worlds is what I want. So.
Now, Robot was saying something earlier about Fallout and relating it to New Vegas. The thing that I like about Outer Worlds is that it puts you in that sort of 1950s, soda jerk era. Yeah, it does that, and they do a really good job of that, like New Vegas does with the whole casinos and everything. You get that whole Vegas feel.
Coca-Cola.
Yeah. That makes more sense with Fallout in New Vegas than any other Fallout, really. I mean, everything else just desolation, apocalypse, whatever. New Vegas added fun back to the franchise, in my opinion, just because of the setting, just in the setting, and some of the characters too. Outer Worlds nails that and does it really well, like Fallout can't do it. And then looking at this DLC, I don't want it. I don't particularly like it. I like the game. Looking at that one, I was just like, I would totally play it just to see what all they have in that thing, just the visuals, because it just looks cool.
I mean, and it's going to be probably 5-10 hours. Probably a story, a little bit, but I mean, that's what you do. You go in, play for a little while. All right, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
Go play a different game. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, everyone's always like, oh, why can't I play this game for 2,000 hours? Like, why do you need that? Why that's not what it is supposed to be. So
yeah, I agree. King, what do you got for us? What'd you see at the showcase?
So there are 3 games that I wanted to kind of highlight. First of which is one that I'm pretty excited about, and that's Fable 4. Now, I use the term Fable 4 lightly, but first I wanted to ask you guys, rack your brains. Do you remember when the last Fable game came out, Fable 3? Do you know when that came out?
No.
2010.
Bingo. 2010. Yeah. We're talking 10 years ago was the last Fable release. And that was from Lionhead Studio, who is no longer the developer for the new Fable 4. It's actually going to be Playground Games, the same people that did Forza Horizon. And there's reports that the kind of preview we got from the gamepad or the showcase was really limited. It was just the kind of basically cutscene. There are rumors that this will not be the traditional Fable game, as in just a regular RPG. This is going to be more of an MMO. Really? And also, this is going. There was Eurogamer did a report that Playground Games has been chipping away at this for quite a while. This game, there are about 200 people in the studio dedicated to this game, so there's a lot of manpower behind this. It should be a pretty decent project. The MMO side was leaked by a French journalist, Chrono TK, who is a very credible source in the fact that he tweeted some aspects of the showcase before the showcase even happened, and they were all correct. So he has some kind of insider information, and that being that this Fable 4 will be more of an MMO as opposed to the traditional RPG. The Fable 3s and 2s and 1s really relied heavily on the morality portion, where you either turned into an evil character with these horns or a great angel good character, and they were saying that's no longer kind of revolutionary stuff. You can't really rest on those laurels and expect that game to coast along. So they're going with more of an open world MMO feel. again, part of these leaks, there was a Reddit thread that brought out some leaks that say this will be first person and third person aspects. There will be no guns in this iteration. Players can build towns. There will be a multiplayer component. This will be built on the Unreal Engine, and there will be time travel and interplanetary travel as well. So they're really kind of exploding the Fable.
Like, stay in your lane, Karen.
I almost that's what I thought as well. I'm a little worried that they're trying to explode it too much. Like Fable itself, the franchise is a very linear, just fun RPG that has those morality aspects to it. But now we're talking interplanetary and time travel and all this stuff, and I'm like, it almost sounds like you're taking too big of a bite. So I mean, it's a great studio. Playground Games obviously is a huge studio. I'm interested to see what they do with it. I'm going to watch this one pretty closely because I think the concept of a Fable MMO sounds interesting.
Yeah, I can see that. It's just so new. I mean, it just doesn't.
It's a lot. It's a lot to kind of make
sense.
Yeah, it's a lot to a big divergence from what Fable's known for. So,
wasn't planning on playing an MMO anytime soon, but I guess I am now.
Yeah. And other things, they said they are still using the morality system. That's still going to be a cornerstone or capstone of the whole games. So interested to see how that goes. That was always one of my favorite aspects. Like, you'd go to a town, you'd kick a chicken, and you'd grow some devil horns real quick. Like, it was really fun to kind of sway your character towards an evil path or a good path. So the alignment aspect was fun. But no release date as of yet for Fable 4. Absolutely not happening this year. There's talks of maybe late 2021, but most likely 2022 game. So my next game I wanted to kind of highlight was Warhammer 40K Darktide. So Warhammer's a great franchise. My only kind of interaction with the Warhammer franchise was like the tabletop version, and that's always been super fun. But the Warhammer franchise as a game is being developed by Fat Shark, who brought us Warhammer Vermintide. And that's super, critically acclaimed iteration of that. Darktide is going to be a 4-player co-op. It's going to be set in the hive city of Tertium. I think I'm saying that right. And it looks like almost like a horde mode. I mean, the Warhammer games were always like kind of zombie, like it's 4 of you versus a ton of big horde. This is set in a much darker kind of atmosphere, so it looks really cool. And it's Vermintide was basically Skyrim but with guns. Like, you had abilities, you had different heroes you could use, and in the trailer for this one, it only showed 4 pretty similar characters, so there's speculation that you might not have as much different kind of heroes you can use. But it's still going to be something that it's really good. This is a 4K 60 frames per second on the Xbox. And right now it's actually available on Steam to put on your wish list. So
nice. So kind of a Space Marines.
Yeah, specifically, Vermintide was like the old medieval fantasy style. Yeah. When Vermintide 1 and 2, it's basically Left 4 Dead but medieval. That's basically what the whole thing is. And this is going to be, I think this one is their 40K setting, which is all Space Marine shit. Yeah. So this is definitely they're going to be their Left 4 Dead.
Yes. Well, in the trailer, it looks really cool. I mean, you have these 4 guys walking around, flip the flashlight up, and there's a huge horde in front of you. And Left 4 Dead's a great game, and it's a good comparison. That would be fun to put, Space Marine kind of Left 4 Dead. Yeah. So,
and I actually like this trailer a lot because it had the sort of comedic part where he slaps the gun to get the flashlight to work. The other guy does. I was like, that's kind of cool. It's nice flair.
And this is slated to release in 2021, sometime in 2021. We don't have an exact date, but it will be next year.
Yeah.
And lastly was State of Decay 3. And State of Decay is kind of your run-of-the-mill, like you versus zombies game. It was actually part of, or it's produced by Undead Labs, who was part of the big influx of studios in 2018 that Microsoft bought all these studios up. It was actually the same year that State of Decay 2 was released. And what's interesting about this version of State of Decay is it always was you versus zombies, shoot 'em kind of thing. now it looks like we're going to be having like zombie animals. There in the trailer, there's a deer that was all zombified eating a wolf, and you had to shoot it with a crossbow, and it's going to be interesting. So the information, there's not a whole lot of it out there on State of Decay right now. There's not even a release date at all. All we know is they're working on it. It's confirmed for PC and Xbox Series X. Other than that, it's just a proof of concept right now, I think. But it's interesting. I myself am not super keen on this zombie genre. I mean, I feel like it's been super overdone. But State of Decay has always been a great series. So
yeah. So
play a lot of 2 at all?
I didn't play much at all. No, I played Left 4 Dead a lot. That was my kind of dip into the zombie genre.
I played a little bit of 2. I played more 1. I thought 1 was really good, but 2 just kind of like it started to lean in on the city, the like property management part of the game, which like it's cool because it's kind of roguelite-ish in a way because there's permadeath with all your characters. But like it was too much of that. It was way too much about resource management and not enough about actually playing the game.
I heard a lot of people compare it to mobile games.
Yeah, it was very mobile-ish.
So,
yes,
I hope they get away from that. That's not a good look for AAA games. So
I thought it was going to be like DayZ on console. That's what like everyone was like, oh, like State of Decay is going to be DayZ but on Xbox, and it wasn't.
Last thing I wanted to mention was just my honorable mention, and that was Ori, Will of the Wisps.
Oh yes,
that game looks amazing, and it is one of the only games that is going to be playing at 120 frames per second at 4K max settings. So it's going to be beautiful.
Yeah,
that's going to be if you want a game to just throw on your TV and be like, check out my new Xbox Series X. Like that's the one because it is going to be an amazingly beautiful game. It is a platformer for Solid. So. So yeah, that was my 3 games that kind of stuck out.
Okay, very good. Let's see something real quick, just to get this list again. So mine, you guys know me well enough to know what I'm sort of attracted to with the games. It's definitely the art style. My 3 are the ones that look the craziest, pretty much. The Medium is the first one that I saw that really grabbed me. It's like Destiny 2 as a reference, the Strike the Corrupted. That goes back and forth between the dark dimension and light, back and forth. This game looks great. I mean, it splits between light and dark. You've got this horror survival aspect to it that I really love. A female antagonist, which has always been my thing. I always play female characters. You're running from a monster, a man who shoots a girl. Equally disturbing on either side of light and dark. And it's kind of unclear with what the gameplay is going to be like because they just kind of flash back and forth to these 2 scenes. If you're going to be staying in one, if you're going to be flipping back and forth, or you play it 2 times, I'm not sure. But it's unique, and to me, that's fascinating. It just looks really, really cool. The Medium. So that was the first one that really grabbed my attention.
It almost looked like you play the same scene at the exact same time. In the light and the dark.
There was like a split screen moment where they were doing that, it looked like, kind of going back and forth. But then they were like, you could tell it was full screen doing one and full screen doing the other, but it was the same scene. So I'm not sure how they're going to run that. Like, are you flipping back and forth as you're running down a hallway, for example?
Right.
And then like doors open up that aren't there. So you've got to time it so that you run and get through the door when it's in the dark phase or something. Like something like that could be really cool that they could play that out. I mean, the potential for gameplay on that one looks really neat to me. And
absolutely.
A lot of cool stuff. I mean, for me, it's like story and mechanics that are unique and overall art just for everything. So the next one you could guess would be Everwild. It's beautiful cell shaded type art, which always gets me. It deals with rituals, music is part of it, vivid colors. It's nature based, so it looks like this sort of video game centered around a Miyazaki movie, right? Like Spirited Away or something, it kind of looks really cool like that. And that just hits me right in the frontal lobe love right there with the artistic style and everything. I can see that being a lot of fun for me. Just the way the game flows, and it's not going to be a competitive shooter. It's not going to be a looter. You're going to get all cool stuff from it. But I just think that a playthrough on that one's just going to be something I really would like to do.
Just a chill game.
Yeah, just really nice and just beautiful to watch. And the last one I think is going to be, we'll say it right now, is going to be Game of the Year whenever it comes out. Grounded. Grounded. I'm telling you, man.
Around the game of the year when it
I
comes
think
out.
so, man. I think this
Yeah.
hits. So all right. So it has Fortnite-esque style to it, right? You got building in there.
Yep.
Minecraft. I mean, this is a standard that has gone on forever and has always been a hit. If you're building things like that, building fortresses and defending them, and it's been breaking down, and you got to go repair it. It's a 4-player look-alike co-op. You can sort of like throw your friends to a spider. I saw in that one little scene where it's like, go at it alone or throw your friends to the spider. You can like betray people in that. They had a Battletoads in there. Did you see the Battletoads like figure that was like buried in the sand or in the dirt?
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be funny. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun with your friends. It's got that building aspect that, people still love, like the base game Fortnite for. And, I'm telling you, man, I think this game is going to fly, just fly. And being on Game Pass and being, included with all that stuff that people just play it. This is the kids' game that replaces Fortnite and everything else from here out.
Oh.
Telling you. Mark it down. Yeah.
Obsidian too, isn't it?
What?
Isn't it made by Obsidian?
It's
as
Obsidian,
well?
yeah. It's Obsidian.
Yeah.
Game. Yeah. I'm telling you, man, this is gold. It's
I totally
gold, Jerry.
agree.
You hear me?
I
It's
think,
gold.
I think you're on to something. I think this is going to be as big as Fortnite before Battle Royale.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
Like
like
when
the Save the World edition?
Save the world.
It's
Yeah.
going to be as big as Save the World. Mark it down.
Yeah, it's gonna be
bigger
yeah,
than that.
I agree
Come
with you
on.
there. I agree with you there. No, I mean, if Obsidian's behind it, so it might be good. I don't think survival games are really great. I don't know. They're very niche. I don't think this is gonna appeal to everyone.
You don't think like
looks fun,
Minecraft
though.
Survival is a good mode?
Well,
Is that what I'm hearing?
It was a good mode until other games came along and did it 100 times better.
Like this game. That's what I'm telling you.
Hush. Hush. Minecraft is still special.
Yeah, it's
This
okay.
is a good looking game. I'll totally give you that. It's intriguing. Yeah, the question is, will it break out big time?
It is
Yeah.
not in my wheelhouse, I'll tell you that.
Well, I know that's not many adults' wheelhouse, but
Yeah.
I think that Game Pass is probably not catering to the
No.
the 40-hour work week guys.
If this was a
girls.
PC release only, it wouldn't do well. But
Mm-mm.
because you're going out on a console, you have a much better chance.
Yeah.
I think once it gets a Switch port, it'll do better there.
It looks like a Switch game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can see that. I mean, it's a little too graphically
Except for
intensive.
the online part.
Yeah.
yeah.
Online and graphically intensive. Like, I don't think that works for Switch. But all right, so what do we think about this whole situation? What do you guys think based on what Xbox is doing versus what PlayStation did?
Game Pass is the future of gaming. It is the right model to go about games. No one wants to buy 3 $60 games a year when you can pay a monthly subscription to have access to 100.
Try $70 games. That's what they're going up to.
70, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm stuck in 2016.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can spend, what's the difference between this and Netflix? If I'm a parent that has a kid who games or myself that games, and I have access to 100 game library for $15 a month, perfect.
Yeah, it's when it's done. You just pay the monthly fee and you're out of it.
That's it.
You don't have
Yeah.
to worry about the new releases.
I'm sure you
don't have to
could.
worry
Yeah,
about
I'm sure you could do a yearly thing. Spend
Yeah.
$100 and you get it for a year, and that's that you have access to all these games.
Yeah.
And like we
It
saw with
honest-
Destiny, it's the content too. It's all the DLCs. It's like it's no brainer.
And the other
It
thing,
didn't.
okay,
No. Well, it didn't dawn on me until the end when they said everything that you saw today will be on Game Pass.
Yeah,
Every game they showed during that is going to be on Game Pass, and then it kind of clicked, like, oh shit, this really is.
this isn't like a mobile game library. Like this isn't just shitty
Yeah,
games that you
this
can
is
get for
it.
$5 a month. These are full-fledged games.
Been saying for a while now, Xbox Game Pass is the best deal in media, period. Across movies, across games, across music. It is the best deal for your buck.
Porno premium is kind of cool, but
so there are
Yeah,
a
you
couple,
got me there.
couple other things, like a lot of it's sort of backwards compatible and forward compatible. Xbox is not charging money to upgrade with their smart delivery system.
Yes.
EA's got their what do they use for their terminology? It was like double
double dipping.
no, it's something terrible. It's
They tried.
double privilege or something. Double entitlement. That's what it is.
Double
entitlement.
Yeah,
That's what
guys.
it was. Like,
Yeah.
oh god. Like, when is the worst time
Brought
to
to you
actually
by the
think of-
company that brought to you by the company that invented surprise mechanics.
Surprise game mechanics that you pay for.
Double entitlement.
Oh my
Yeah.
god. Yeah, terrible. So I mean,
Doubling down on entitlement.
Microsoft has also gone and said that, you know, developers are not allowed to upcharge for transferring the games over in Smart Delivery, which I think is really great. Now, PlayStation, you buy it on PlayStation 4, you buy it again on PlayStation 5. Sorry.
That's
you
tough.
just got it for $70 this time. It was $60 on the PS4, and you pay it for $70 on the PS5.
It's really only like that's really only like an issue the first like year or two, because most like after, you know, once 2021 fall hits, you're not going to see NBA and NHL games and Madden. They're not going to be on the old systems anymore.
Right.
They're going to exclusively be on the new system. So like I understand why PlayStation isn't doing that, but like Jesus Christ, like they're not like there's so many games that they want to sell consoles, right? Like that's how Sony is like trying to make their money, is like getting people into these new consoles to get into the new games. But like it's going to be hard to do that when we don't know the price for the consoles yet, but these things are going to be fucking expensive.
Yeah.
It's you know, I mean, I don't know what they're doing.
And to that, I mean, if you're making all your money off Game Pass subscriptions, can't you lower the price of the hardware? You know,
Watch Xbox come out with a $349 console and be
yeah.
like,
Oh my god.
So there's two things. One they've been doing for a while, which is the financing a console. So the rumor is that the new top tier console, they'll put a financing plan together where you can buy it, low monthly payment, includes Game Pass. So, you know, mom and pop can get little Timmy a console maybe for $40 a month. The newest, latest console with Game Pass, a reasonable payment. They don't have to dole out $600 at Christmas. Man, you are a rock star in your
Yep.
house
Yeah.
for that. And I mean, let's be honest, half people are going to default on those payments, but that's not what's important.
We're here to repossess your Xbox. No.
$1,000 for a new phone every 3 years. Why won't you pay? You know, and that's generally inside of a plan, right? So you're paying what, $30-$40 a month for that phone over 2 years or so, and that's that's you upgrading the phone every couple years. This is a console that's probably going to last for the next 7-8 years. Why wouldn't you go in and pay the $30-$40 a month to get
You're
your
talking
over
4
2
years
years?
tops on consoles.
You're not saying
doing
7-8 years. No way in hell.
Well, how long has the Xbox One been out since release to now? 2012, right?
Yep.
So 8 years.
Yeah.
8 years. There you go. It's like 8
Mhm.
years, 7-8 years.
I
That is
don't
the
know.
console cycle.
With
man.
a refresh in the middle.
With
I-
a sort of refresh in the middle.
I
Yeah.
have to think that's not going to be the way it goes this time because of the advancement of technology in video cards, especially in this whole 7-nanometer stuff that's coming out.
Even if it's
I
4
think-
years, that's good.
I think
That's
4 or
good.
5 is probably where you're going to land on this.
There's
thing.
no way they're pushing out a new console in 5 years. No fucking way.
It'll be a refresh. It'll be a decent
Okay,
refresh.
well,
A
like a
refresh
Pro
at,
version, yeah.
at 200 hertz or 8K. I mean, that's coming.
8K
We're not-
would be first.
We're not having
All
8K
right.
shit. I'm sorry.
I'm calling it right now. 16K 2024. 16K 30 frames per second.
Yeah.
No, stop.
They're like, we tried the 60 frame route, didn't like it.
Yeah.
We're going back
No.
to 30 and
Yeah.
as much pixels as we can pack on a
It's
screen.
beautiful, so just hang around a while. It's 30 frames.
And well, so also with all this, something else that hasn't been really like shown yet is the Lockhart version of the Xbox that's going to be coming out, which is going to be, I'm guessing it's going to be called Xbox Series S, because they're all just called Xbox, but it's the Series X and it's going to be the Series S, I'm guessing. So they've got this other lower tier console that's going to be coming out, and it's not going to be rated for 4K, but it's going to be their go-to 1080p for the next generation. You know, not everyone's going to want to play or cares about 4K. I myself do not give a shit about 4K. But you know, maybe I'm looking for a console just to be able to have the console to bring somewhere else if I can't bring my PC with. So maybe I buy this lower tier option that's still going to have the SSD drive in it. It's still going to have, maybe 1080p ray tracing in it.
Same CPU.
Same CPU, and it's going to, but it just doesn't play 4K, which is fine. It's going to cost $100 less.
So it's a lesser GPU is what you're saying.
Yeah, so way lesser GPU. Yeah, that is very, very appealing, especially because they're saying that the Series X is for the enthusiast, right? They've been saying it the whole time. This is going to be the world's most powerful console, and it's going to be if you're a hardcore gamer, you're going to want this. But if you're someone who just likes the game, you don't care about the graphics really that much, you just want to play all the new shit, there's going to be this lesser console that's going to come out, and I think it's that console right there. I think it's going to blow the water off of PlayStation.
I don't know that makes sense to me. Just in that.
So, yeah, here's the logic, and I think Solid's onto something, especially kind of in the circumstances we're in right now. So this console will have the same CPU. It's a 60 frame per second console. It's a 1080p 60 frame per second console. They're thinking maybe like a $350 price point, somewhere in that. We're in the middle of a pandemic. Unemployment's at 15-20%. Shit's tough. And if I'm I want to buy a console, I want to buy into the next generation, I want Destiny at 60 frames per second, this could be a way to do it. And I think there's a market for that. There is definitely a market. Not everybody wants to go out and spend $500 on a new console or $600 on a new console. There's a huge part of the market that will spend $300.
Well, I mean, but back to point what you just said about having $35-$40 a month, you can get the full thing with Game Pass.
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean,
If
that's
you
where. Well, that's
If
where I
that's
don't. Oh well,
yeah.
good point.
You gotta have the credit, dude. I mean, they're not going to just give it to fucking Aaron off the street. Aaron off the street's going to have to take his $350. He's going to have to go get himself the lesser version of the console if he doesn't want to buy the $600 console.
All right, yeah, I can see that.
$150 will make that. That's an easy decision for people.
And say you have a kid. Save kids. You're not going to want to buy them a console that plays games in 4K. They don't give a shit. They just want to play fucking Minecraft on the TV out in the living room.
A 20-inch CRT back there.
Exactly. So it's like, what do you want to buy your kid? You want to buy your kid the minimum viable product that's going to get them into the next generation of games, and that's going to be this lesser version of the Xbox. Exactly like they said when the Xbox One X came out. They said this is not for everyone. This is for the power enthusiast. And look how many people still bought them. It still sold like crazy. I mean, granted, the Xbox One was kind of a shitty console to begin with and couldn't even play 1080p, but it still sold a lot, and people still bought the regular Xbox One S as well as the One X. And I think the same is going to happen here, but I feel like the S is going to sell more than the X initially. And eventually, in a couple of years, I think the X will start really outperforming the S as far as sales.
That's a good deep dive on Xbox. So where does PlayStation fall in all this? Because you say the sales of the PlayStation console outsell Xbox console.
You're just going to see the digital PS5 is going to be the one.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
That's going to be the only thing that can compete with the Xbox.
So we know where Xbox is in 5 years. Where's PlayStation in 5 years?
PlayStation going bankrupt? No, I'm just kidding.
No, let's be honest. I mean, they make some great titles. They've got some great studios. They make 4 amazing games a year. There are 4 games typically a year from PlayStation that are the reason you own a PlayStation.
Yeah.
I think PlayStation will I think as far as just making the case for next gen, I think PlayStation makes a better case for next gen right now. I think those consoles sell better out of the gate. I think my personal opinion is Xbox is a better deal. I think Game Pass, the whole thing is just a better deal. But I've got a PC. I'm in Game Pass. My incentive for buying an Xbox right now isn't super high. I mean,
that's where
outside
you hit
of
it.
that's what makes me lean towards a PlayStation, honestly.
Yeah, same here. Exactly same.
Because
same
I'm
deal.
filling a filling a gap that I couldn't get otherwise.
Yeah, because I'll get those Game Pass games on PC. Like they're not. Xbox is dealing, or Microsoft is dealing with, both sides for this deal with the Game Pass. I think their console sales, like you said, will not be as good as PlayStation because they don't have the exclusives because they're coming all across both platforms.
But you also have to remember this: the four of us here, we're all hardcore gamers. We all play on PC. We all have like high spec PCs to be able to play anything we want.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like 80% of the gaming community is not us. We're the very like top tier echelon of like people who are gaming. Normal fucking everyday person down the street that wants to play the new Madden doesn't have a tuned up PC.
They're gonna flip on their Xbox and that's gonna be it.
They're gonna flip on their Xbox. They're gonna say, "Oh, I can either get the Xbox that plays everything now, or the PlayStation that plays everything now." I mean, those games on PlayStation look cool, but fuck, the Xbox is $150 less than the PlayStation. All right, let's go with Xbox
and Game Pass.
Pass. I mean, it's a no-brainer.
That's the biggest selling point I see for Microsoft right now is Game Pass. That'll sell more consoles than any hardware spec you're going to see.
Yeah.
Sony will sell more consoles.
Yep.
Microsoft will generate more revenue.
Yeah.
And it's not about consoles anymore. It's that metric
of
who's succeeding.
How long has it been that Microsoft and Sony have both said that they lose money on every console they sell?
Yeah.
That's not a profitable sector for them. They make money on software and accessories, and that's where they make their money. The days of the going out and buying a Nintendo and like having to have that on Christmas, it's kind of gone. These every 4, 5, 6 year consoles that we see make up a pretty small margin of these companies' profits. So
back to the 5-year thing. Do you think PlayStation goes into a streaming service, a competitive streaming service, or do you think they're still cranking out a console and throwing these 4 games out a year?
The infrastructure to put out a competitive streaming service, period. They don't have the money to do so. They don't have, like, Sony as a company is not even close to as big as Microsoft.
I think Sony's game division is going to be absorbed by Microsoft, and they're going to stick to TVs. That's what I say.
I mean,
market.
I'm not going that extreme, but I that's kind of where I'm getting at now. Is like I don't see this being a viable model for the next 5 years.
What happens when Apple comes in and says, "Hey, we don't want to make our own console. We're just going to buy Sony. We're just going to buy the PlayStation."
Or Stadia pops off.
Or Stadia pops off. Whoa. When are we all getting free Elon Musk internet now?
Yeah.
We all live in Africa.
Amazon takes over the gaming.
Yeah.
No, the situation that Sony's in, if they do want to enter into the streaming market or streaming surface, they're gonna have to partner with somebody. They've actually already partnered with Microsoft. So for PlayStation Now, they use Microsoft servers as your servers for that. Yeah. So,
I'm telling you, gobble, gobble, gobble. It's coming.
It's rough, but I see Sony ending up being kind of like Nintendo in a way, like a different version of Nintendo.
Yeah. That would make more sense.
In the long run, yeah.
Or even just being like not even like a console maker anymore. Like what Sega does. Sega said, "All right, I guess we can't make consoles anymore. We're just going to make software." And it's just basically Xbox versus whoever the fuck else is in the market for a streaming box type, But Sony's just like, we are software now. We're just going to push out these games and make all of our money off of games because, let's be honest, making a console for them is just, they're just hemorrhaging money.
Yep.
Yeah.
5 years.
Yeah.
It's like
Sony sold a shit ton of consoles and they're just fine.
Yeah,
that's true.
Right.
That's true. It's just gonna be 4 Spider-Man games: Spider-Man BR, Spider-Man MMO.
Right.
There'll be Horizon New Dawn sprinkled in there, but
I would love to see how they would push a Spider-Man MMO.
Upgrade your web slinger now in 12 hours
into the Spider-Verse. There you go, MMO.
Yep. Plethora of characters. All right.
Oh, worth noting also before we kind of keep forward further, There is another Microsoft stream scheduled for August at some point. I think it's like the third week in August, which they said
They'll announce the S.
Yeah, that's when they said they're going to talk all about the console and console sales and when the console price will probably be unveiled. So
price. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I think it was like I want to say it was. I thought it said like August 23rd, but I know that's what July 23rd was for the for this one. I think I want to say it's probably gonna be like August 27th. Will probably be it, like right before fall stuff starts to hit.
Okay.
So
Okay, for the record, who do you think will announce price first?
Microsoft.
Yeah, Microsoft.
Absolutely.
And then you're going to see Sony scramble.
I bet Sony does in early August. They put pre-orders up. If you
Really?
if
You can only order one,
Sony,
by the way.
and you can only order one, and you get that frenzy going early, like, oh god, you got to order it or you'll miss it.
Yeah,
that would be the right move for Sony.
I could see that being the right move. I don't know if they'll do that.
Even if the price is too high.
Yeah.
FOMO, lean into FOMO. Yeah.
Now, see, the problem is Sony's always hit with that cheaper price, and that's what has sold their consoles more than anything. Is like you're talking about, what'd you say, Alexis down the street, whatever the thing you said.
Yeah.
With bad credit. What are you going to do? You're going to buy the cheaper console that you can, and because you're going to get the same. You're still going to get Call of Duty. You're still going to get Destiny.
But that's $70 a whack on games. That $150 difference is 2 games away.
You don't think that far ahead, though, really. I mean, it's like, get the console first. I'll get the games later.
There is another unannounced Microsoft console still. Everybody knows that Lockhart exists. Everyone knows that this exists. I don't think Sony's going to say anything until the Lockhart comes out and they go, oh, fuck, what are we going to do now?
We have a digital version of the PS5.
That's the reason. So that right there is the reason I think that Xbox is going to say first. And they'll have like whatever price they drop, and Sony drops theirs. And they be, Lockhart, $200 less than that. Bam.
Yeah.
I think Microsoft's going to position themselves more than PlayStation and less than PlayStation. I think PlayStation is going to come right in the middle. Yeah. I think PlayStation's going to come in at like 400. Xbox X is going to be about 500, and the S will probably be 350.
I think we talked about this before, and I'm pretty sure I prophesized that the Series X is going to ding in at $499, and I see the S, the Lockhart, coming out at $350, $349.
Yeah,
and the PlayStation 5 is going to ding in at $400, $399.
Yep, I can see that. Totally see that.
I've already pre-ordered an Atari, so fuck all this next stuff.
I'm waiting for the television to come back, so hopefully.
To be honest,
Nintendo, so we're good.
To be honest, everybody's just waiting for the 3000 series cards to come out, and we're going to get those,
which
is going to cost what 2 Xbox costs. So.
Shit, 6 Xbox.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
All right. If you've enjoyed the show and you have any questions or comments, please send us an email to spawncampcouncil@gmail.com, and we can answer those on air. And maybe give you a shout out, that sort of thing. Great job tonight, gents. So what are you playing next week, and where can you find you in the real world, KingDawes?
I will be playing Risk of Rain 2. I will be getting ready for the 1.0 release. Also, there will be some Destiny in the future. So you can find me everywhere online, social and gaming at KingDawes1.
SolidScorpionZ.
I will be right there next to KingDawes, playing some Risk of Rain 2. Enjoying the fuck out of that. Also, I'll be playing Carrion, which just came out yesterday. It is on Xbox Game Pass. Go check it out. And you can find me everywhere on the internet at SolidScorpionZ.
Very good. Robot.
I will be shitposting on Twitter and playing some Destiny.
Getting blocked by the biggest of Destiny personalities.
I was blocked by a Bungie developer this week, I must say.
Oh, wow.
Add that to the trophy case.
Good shit.
And where can we find you?
On Twitter. That's it.
That's it?
Just OldDirtyRobot. Yeah. Look for the shit post, follow the trail, and I'll be there.
Leaving for the stinky, dirty man that is OldDirtyRobot.
Yeah.
So I'll be playing Carrion by Devolver Digital as well on the Switch, and run through my Switch library of platformers this week just to get some of those things done. I got what is it? Something Paladin today.
Panzer Paladin.
Panzer Paladin I got today.
Fucking awesome.
So I'll be playing a little bit of that. Gonna do oh shit, I forget the names of it. Anyway, the other two that I told you about last week. I forget the names. Anyway, so I'll be doing that. You can find me at Adam212 just everywhere. Thank you for watching and listening to Metagame, everyone. That concludes our cast. Keep an eye out for our next episode of Metagame. Until then, remember, in my day, we didn't have no fancy smancy tanks. We had sticks and a rock for the whole platoon, and we had to share the rock. Good night, everyone.